Why, hello everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. Now, before we dive in, we did take a bit of a break for Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a good time. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to it. So let's go ahead and grab our popcorn, get our controllers, and dive right on into these topics, shall we? Starting with our game news topics of the day, and our first game news topic of the day is regarding, I guess, some leaks from Grand Theft Auto, but these seem to be early leaks from Grand Theft Autos that had taken place before any other leaks, I guess. So I think what's going on here, before I read to you guys some details, is basically since we had a lot of the issues going on with some of the protesting going on for rock stars as they laid off some people. It seems like these leaks are leaks from the company to keep people's mind off of the drama, or they seem to be leaks from something else. Now, this article doesn't have the exact leak. I'm sure if you guys look for it online, you can find it. But the demo reel shows a bike rental station, new animations, and protagonist Lucia interacting with a pickup truck. Grand Theft Auto 6 is expected to feature deep Vice City environments, expanded mini games like hunting and scuba diving, and a revamped combat coverage system, which I think we saw some leaks of the female character fighting in like a fight club kind of thing over in the past. So I think that's kind of where these leaks are from. So I'm not sure if Rockstar is going to use these leaks as what was possibly leaked from the company or the employees. We still don't know what's going on there, but we're going to have to wait and see what's going on. But I think it's interesting that we're getting all these leaks now after all the drama. I'm wondering where these leaks were before all the drama took place, but I'm just curious to know what you guys think about it. But the game is still scheduled to come out on November 19th, 2026. Grand Theft Auto has already won back to back most anticipated game awards, and fans eagerly anticipate the game. So let me know what you guys think about these leaks. If you've guys checked out the footage, let us know in the comments down below. And are you guys still excited for this game? And even though all the drama has been going on, let me know. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next topic of the day. And our next topic of the day is 1 month later since its release. ARC Raiders is still dominating the Steam charts. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from Game Rant. So, according to this article, since October 30th, release of ARC has remained the top selling game on Steam consistently, outperforming Battlefield 6 in daily player count, peaking at nearly 482,000 concurrent players. Physics-driven combat, atmospheric design, matchmaking, and accessible mechanics have sustained interest alongside live service quests, trials, and cosmetic rewards. So, I haven't had a chance to play this game. I'm probably gonna wait for it to come out on PlayStation. I don't even think it's out yet. At least I haven't heard. Mind you, I've been enjoying a little bit of a vacation, so I haven't really had a chance to take a look at this myself. But if you guys are interested in seeing some of the details for this game, I'll have the link to this article in the description down below, so you guys could check it out for yourself. But this game does seem to be pretty interesting from what I'm seeing so far. Some last details here. The upcoming Cold Snap update will introduce new map conditions, events, quests, and cosmetics, with Embark Studios confirming on upcoming updates will continue in 2026. Ongoing updates. I said upcoming. Excuse me. You know I'm dyslexic. Anyways, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day, shall we? And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Team Cherry thinks that their next project will be a brand new game and not Hollow Knights 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article here from IGN. So, according to this article, co-founder Ari Gibson, and William Pellin revealed that they may pursue a brand new project instead of Hollow Knights 3, while confirming Silk Song's DLC is in the works. The duo reflected on a long development cycle of their game, noting that with 7 years per project, their biggest concern is time or death. And I think the reason they said death, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot to write down their age. I think their age was mentioned in this article. Turning 60 right here, so 62 and 60. So they're definitely worried about their age. At least I think this was their age. Anyways, you guys check that out for yourself. Anyways, where was I? whatever comes next, Team Cherry promises experience rooted in exploration, strange characters, and giant bosses, while leaving the door open to return to Hollow Knight's universe eventually. So hopefully we will get a Hollow Knight 3 at some point, but seeing the long development cycle for these games, I very much doubt that. It's gonna suck if they take another 7 years to develop another, uh, whether even if it's a new IP. But it makes sense for this team to do that. You know, you have 14 years of their lives have been developing Hollow Knights, so I think they want to do something new. They probably have other ideas they want to explore. But I'm just hoping the studio kind of picks up the pace. It would be nice for them to release a game maybe every 2 years, maybe every 3 years, but instead of 7 years. But we're gonna have to see what they do. I know that they're very successful, so not knocking what they've done in the past 7 years because clearly it's worked out for them. But really hoping that some studios kind of pick up the pace and get some games out for release. Speaking of which, that kind of leads us into our next story. So let's go ahead and move over to, our next game news topic of the day, which is apparently CD Projekt Red is planning for 3 games in the Witcher series, hoping for a trilogy for Ciri. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And they are planning to release these projects within a 6 year period. So 3 Witcher games in a 6 years period. That sounds pretty awesome to me. Hopefully they're able to do it. Knowing how delays and stuff work in this industry, I very much doubt that they'll be able to achieve this, but here's to hoping. But according to this article, let me put up a picture here for you. You know what? Never mind. You guys could just. Anyways, according to this article, CD Projekt Red aims to deliver Witcher 4, 5, and 6 within 6 years, leveraging Unreal Engine 5's fast development, with The Witcher 4 expected no earlier than 2027. The studio envisions The Witcher 5 in 2030 and The Witcher 6 in 2033. Alongside the trilogy, CD Projekt Red is also developing Cyberpunk 2 and a Witcher 1 remake while navigating industry challenges and uh, transitions. So the question is, will they be able to do this? And honestly, we're at a point in game development where graphics are hitting their peak, even for PC. There are some things to be improved, but depending on how they're future proofing their games, a lot of the assets utilized in The Witcher 4 will possibly be utilized in The Witcher 5 and 6. So they could possibly have the whole environments built out early by utilizing multiple assets throughout the games, especially because they're already such high quality assets for a game like this. So it does make sense, and they're a pretty big team over there at CD Projekt Red. So it is doable for them to release all 3 games by 2033. Mind you, there will possibly be some delays, so we're probably more looking at more like a 2035. So within the next 10 years, possibly. But we're gonna have to see what ends up happening. But if they're able to turn it around in that amount of time, that is awesome. And also in the middle of that, also releasing a Cyberpunk 2 is pretty wild because that's a pretty massive and vast game, Cyberpunk. So I'm very curious how they're going to turn that out. As far as the remake for Witcher 1, I'm not sure. I'm curious if they're going to be able to. Now, I haven't played Witcher 1, so I don't know what type of game it is. If they're going to do a remake or like an exact remake, or if they're going to kind of update it. I don't know if it plays like Witcher 3 at all, but let's just say they try to update it to kind of how Witcher 3, Witcher 4 is going to be. They can still utilize the assets from Witcher 4, 5, and 6 to work on Witcher 1. So we're going to have to see what they end up doing, but I'm very excited to see what this team comes up with. Now, I didn't play Cyberpunk when it first came out because of all the bugs, and I didn't want to deal with that bullshit. But after they did a fix and they had their update and they had their DLC release, I bought like the bundle and I ended up having a lot of fun with that game. Spent quite a bit of time on it. So hopefully their next game could be a little better, minus all the bug issues on release. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you think the team over at CD Projekt Red will be able to release Witcher 4, 5, and 6 within 6 years? All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our last game news topic of the day. And our last game news topic of the day is a leak and kind of a rumor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But it's currently rumored slash leaked that there is a new Dead Rising game set in Hollywood with Frank West returning. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article. from Game Rant. So, according to this article, a new Dead Rising game, reportedly codenamed Wreck, is in development at Capcom, marking a franchise's first main entry since 2016. The game is said to feature an enclosed movie set where a deranged, excuse me, I was going to say rederanged, a deranged director uh, forces Frank into trials while survivors appear as actors and psychopaths return as enemies. Iconic features like Frank's camera, survival resources, and the series timeline system are expected to return, though the game is still described as being far from release. Now, I love the Dead Rising game. I think it was a lot of fun. I wanted to buy the Dead Rising like re-release, and I think it did pretty well. If I'm not mistaken, as far as sales, so it makes sense for them to continue the franchise. But I'm very curious as to how it's going to be now that they're going to have the return of Frank West. If I'm not mistaken, the 2016 one kind of was a little more serious and a little more grounded than the other ones were. So I'm curious if they're going to keep the grounded feel or if they're going to go more ridiculous a la the original, which I would prefer, because it's a lot of fun just doing crazy stuff and it makes a lot of sense. But I'm curious how it's going to turn out. My hope is we'd have the graphics of the 2016 one, so of course a little bit more improved, but also have the comedic chops of the original, which would be a lot of fun. And to introduce new gameplay mechanics and stuff like that would be very, very interesting and very entertaining. And hopefully it can be similar to the remake, which I'm waiting for the remake to be on sale. So I actually haven't been paying attention since I've been enjoying being at home, but I'll probably have to look into that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Would you guys be interested in another Red Dead? Sorry, not Red Dead. Dead Rising. Jesus Christ. Would you guys be interested in a new Dead Rising game set in Hollywood? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, and that does it for our game news topics of the day. We're going to go ahead and move over to our movie news topics of the day. And our first movie news topic of the day is regarding this past weekend's box office. Now, mind you, we've had the long weekend with Thanksgiving, so we're going to look at that too. But we have Zootopia 2 coming at 100.2 million dollars. Wicked for Good coming at 61.7 million. Now You See Me, Now You Don't coming in at 6.9 million. Predator Badlands hanging in there at number 4 with 4.8 million. The Running Man's at number 5 with 3.7 million. Eternity is coming in at number 6 with 3.1 million. Rent a Family is doing pretty well for such a low budget film, if I'm not mistaken, at $2.1 million, hanging in there at number 7. Number 8, Hamnet, I don't know what that is, coming in at 932,000. Sisu Road to Revenge at number 9 with 773,000. And rounding out our top 10 with Normanberg coming in at 763,000. Right out of the top 10, actually, is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, coming in at $600,000. Now, mind you, this was the short weekend over the long weekend. As you can see here, it was released on Thanksgiving. And honestly, they didn't put a lot of marketing into this, so of course they didn't make that much money. I don't think came in total domestically at $1.6 million. What a shame that Netflix did this to that movie, because I think it would have made a lot more. For Zootopia 2 for the long weekend, we're looking here at $158 million, releasing on November 16th, as you can see breakdown. So I know that they're happy over there at Disney, already bringing in $500 million for this movie. Wicked for Good for the long weekend. Now, I believe it was released the week before the long weekend, so we're going to start looking right here from November 17th downwards. Hold on, let's do this domestic weekends here. There we go. Broke it down for over the Thanksgiving weekend. It made $91 million, already coming in at the $400 million mark, so I'm sure they're celebrating over there as well. Now You See Me, Now You Don't actually did pretty well. I think $186 million totally domestically right now, so or worldwide right now. So congratulations to them. And lastly, we're gonna look at The Running Man, and I'm skipping Predator Badlands for a reason, as you'll see shortly. Coming in at $60 million. I'm sure this is pretty much a disappointment for the studio. I'm sure they were hoping for a lot more money when it comes to this. But we're gonna have to see what happens when the end of its run. But I wanted to show you guys this Predator Badlands one separately, coming in at $174 million. And the reason for that is this is gonna lead us into our next topic of the day. And our next topic of the day for Predator Badlands is Predator Badlands become the highest grossing film in the franchise. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from IGN, shall we? So, according to this article, Predator Badlands has grossed 173.7 million, which we just saw was 174 million worldwide, surpassing all prior Predator and Alien vs Predator films. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, the PG-13 film earns strong reviews and introduces the Predator as the protagonist in a bold story. Despite its milestone, declining box office momentum and high cost leave Disney undecided on a green light for a follow up. So the question is, will we be getting a follow up for the Predator Badlands? And honestly, even though, let me reopen this previous tab that I closed so we can look at the box office here. Uh, yeah, I have it open. Okay. So even though we're sitting at 170 million, which is not very much. This was a $100 million budget, so it is currently hasn't broken even just yet. At least I don't think it has. We'll probably have to reach the 250, maybe 300 million mark to break even. I could be wrong about that. No studio really showcases what general math is. 1/3 of the box office is kind of their what they've made back. I guess you can say, give or take. But anyways, that being said, let's go ahead and break it down a little further. So even though this box office is very good for the franchise, the question is, will they continue it with knowing that the next film will probably cost another $100 million? And I think the answer is yes. And the reason for that is because they're starting something new here. The fact that it's already the highest grossing Predator film is a plus and is a bonus for whether we're going to be getting a sequel or not, because they had Predator franchise was completely gone when it came to that Predator movie they came out with Olivia Munn and whoever else. I can't remember who else was with. That movie was so bad and it kind of killed the franchise until Prey came out, and it was so good and everyone loved it on Hulu, and it didn't even make money because it was released on Hulu. But so many people watched it that they had to invest in another movie, and now we got Predator Badlands. Mind you, and they also introduced Wayland Yutani in there, so they're connecting the Alien and Predator franchises. Now I'm not sure if the AVP movies are canon or stuff like that, so let's just call it the this new timeline or whatever. They're introducing Wayland Yutani. We just had Alien Earth. We just had the Alien Romulus. Probably going to be getting another Alien movies coming out soon. So I'm very sure that they're going to try to continue building up this franchise and introducing these two Alien versus Predator build up to a crossover again. So I'm very much thinking we will be getting another Predator movie, especially because it's reviewed so well. It already become the highest grossing Predator movie, and we're most likely going to be a lot of people that see it on home video when it's released on streaming will be very interested in the sequel. So you'll probably build a bigger audience. But right now we see the box office going upwards and not downwards. So maybe one more movie we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think we're gonna be getting another Predator? All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic or movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic of the day is regarding, forgive me, I'm going to butcher their damn names, but apparently Marcello Hernández and Skyler Gisondo is joining Shrek 5 as Fiona and Shrek's sons. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from Deadline. So SNL's Marcello Hernandez and Superman's Skyler Gisondo will voice Shrek and Fiona's son alongside Zendaya as their daughter. Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz reprise their iconic roles with direction from Condor Vernon and Walt Dorn. Produced by Gina Shea and Chris Meldarnier. I cannot pronounce names for the life of me, and forgive me. Shrek 5 is going to hit theaters on June 30th, 2027, continuing the franchise that has grossed nearly $3 billion worldwide. I think this is great casting. I'm sure voice acting is not very much, but for some reason, this Skyler guy, everything he's been in, I've enjoyed. Now I don't know if it's his acting, I don't know if it's the project he's chooses, but everything he's been in, I've liked. For from what's that one with Cameron? Not Cameron Diaz, with Drew Barrymore, and she's a zombie. I can't remember. The Santa Clarita Diet. That one. I loved him in that. So I love him in every project he does. So I hope he continues. Continues his career, and I think him being a voice in Shrek would be absolutely fun and phenomenal. He has a very distinct and hilarious voice, so hopefully that turns out very well. But let me know what you guys think of their additions in the comments. All right, guys. That being said, let's move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic is regarding Stranger Things Season 5, Part 1. We're going to do a little quick review. So, currently, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it is sitting at an 84% and an 85% from uh, Rotten Tomatoes on the people side, not the critics, the viewers. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, so just my quick thoughts on it. I'm gonna try to go through this without spoilers. How do I do this without spoiling something? Well, the overall, I'm gonna do like a quick review without spoilers, and then probably do some spoilers afterwards. But my overall thoughts is it was entertaining. It was very fun. Now we had 4 episodes, very long episodes, kind of introduced them, but a lot of the episodes there was some questionable decisions for some characters. I do like some of the organization and the fun stuff and the combat and things that we got to see going on. Overall, I got entertained from the show, but the way I kind of figure if a show is really good is if I watch a show and I don't look at my phone. That's how I know it captured my attention and it really captured me. Like I think season 1 and 2 did that for me. But this one I was kind of distracted by other things that wasn't really capturing me as much until a lot of the fun stuff happened, like with the chase of one of the kids and stuff like that with the family. If you know what I'm if you've seen the season, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a lot of fun and entertaining. I highly recommend you guys check it out for yourselves if you guys love Stranger Things, or if you haven't picked it back up. And it might right now might be the time. I'm sure there's a lot of spoilers going around, so you might want to check out these first 4 episodes before the Christmas episodes drop. All right, guys, we're gonna get into a little bit of spoilers. So if you want, maybe skip ahead 5-6 minutes, and yeah, thank you guys. But to get into some spoilers, one of the things that annoyed me is, we've been really seeing this show um, trying to really emphasize Elle and her powers and her abilities throughout the seasons, and this one she doesn't really showcase her power very much as far as like her abilities and how she's going to be able to fight someone like Vecna who has ridiculous powers. And then at the end of this episode, the last episode, we see Will probably showcase one of the most powerful things we've seen a character do as far as stopping. Like we've seen the characters do that to humans. We've seen characters move around, yeah, but we never seen a character stop not only 3 of those damn demigorgons and just destroy them, but he did that with a minor nosebleed when Elle nosebleeds when trying to open a damn door, trying to lift up a damn soda. I'm sorry, it's just annoying. Like she should be the one showcasing powers like that, not him. I feel, but who knows? Like he kind of came into his own, which was nice to see. I was tired of seeing him be a bitch, so it's nice to see him not be that way no more and come into his own. So I'm very curious how his powers are going to continue out throughout the last couple episodes of the show, and hopefully him and Elle can team up and do something really cool against Vecna. We're gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening with that. I also didn't like the fact that David Harbour's character like was just going in to sacrifice himself. You just kind of figured that he was going to die from the beginning. Now there was a nice little twist at the end where he didn't, and they introduced a character I think from season 2 or 3. I think season 2, one of the her sister's things that she found, or one of the people don't really like the episode. So I'm very curious how they're going to incorporate that. So right now we have 3 pretty powerful characters on the good guy side. Whether Will stays good or not, we'll seen. So that's very interesting what we got going on with Stranger Things. Overall, I love the show and I think it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see the final episode on New Year's. The question is whether I'm going to be watching the Christmas episodes or if I should just wait for the New Year's so I can just see them all at once. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens. But let me know what you guys thought of Stranger Things season 5. Did you guys enjoy it, or were you guys a little disappointed? Let me know. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our last movie news topic of the day. And our last movie news topic is regarding Avatar creator James Cameron has said that using AI, making a performance from scratch using text prompts is horrifying to him. Go ahead and take a look at this article from IGM. So, according to this article, the director stressed that performance capture celebrates actors while generative AI replaces them is horrifying. Cameron acknowledged AI could help lower VFX expenses, but insists writing, acting, and character creation must remain human driven. With Avatar Fire and Ash due in December, Cameron warns he may walk away if it doesn't justify funding Avatar 4 and 5. I'm assuming Disney has said that it needs to make $2 billion when he says something like that. Now, the first two did. Whether this one does or doesn't remains to be seen, but this must be very expensive movie to gross anything near those other two movies. But regarding his comments, I love James Cameron, and he's in his career has really been on the cutting edge of technology. You look back at The Abyss and kind of what they did with that water simulation, was the really one of the highlight introductions to kind of sims like that in movies, and that justified him to utilize the technology to create Terminator 2. Even then, from Terminator 2 onwards, doing the Avatar movie, that's one thing that he leaps and bounds in technology. Even with Avatar 2, leaps and bounds in technology with the water sims and everything going on in that. So he's just been on the cutting edge of film technology and really pushing the industry forward when it comes to new tech. So the fact that he is uh, horrified of AI says a lot, because he seems to be the one on the cutting edge of using technology like this, and you think it might be something he'd be interested in. But he's such a phenomenal filmmaker and storyteller that it makes sense for him to be hesitant for technology like this, because you really want human driven stories. So it makes sense for him to want something that sort. But to have probably the best technological advancement guy in film history, I would say, in my opinion, not be willing to utilize certain tools like generative AI and stuff like that, at least not regarding character acting, writing, and stuff like that, says a lot. So hopefully the rest of the industry follows suit to what he's saying, because I think he's one of the best filmmakers of all. If I had a Mount Rushmore, he would be on my Mount Rushmore of filmmakers. But let me know what you guys think of his comments in the description down below, or think of his comments in the comments down below in the description. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of what James Cameron had to say. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Wait, is that it? Yeah, sorry. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always remember, guys, stay true, be odd.